What's up, everybody? This your man Blitz.
And I'm your man Blur.
Welcome to Game Changers Entertainment.
Yes.
The video game channel, man. You got to get up on this quickly.
Come on here.
So what we wanted to do, we wanted to give you guys a little sample of how we do a segment called The Good,
The Bad,
and The Ugly. And we talking about video games. Break it down for them, Blur.
Basically, this is how our rating system's going to be. We're going to give you the good, and the good will be, the graphics. Mm-hmm. That's good. The sound.
Yeah.
It can be bad. The graphics, the sound, the gameplay, the pacing.
Yeah.
And ugly is basically game-breaking things. Something that will take you out of immersion.
Yeah.
Something that will make you not want to play the game or make it hard for you to really want to play the game.
That's right.
So the thing is, we want to keep it simple.
That's right. The KISS method.
Keep it simple, stupid.
So
we just want to give y'all a taste of how we rate games, so you all can know when y'all look at our videos, okay, that's how they do it. So we're going to just introduce how we do it on one game that me and him are at odds with, no matter what era it is. What game is that, bro?
We talking about Assassin's Creed 3. We talking about my boy Connor, the Native American assassin that's brought up into the game the hard way. You know what I'm saying? So you want me to start this off with the good?
Go ahead.
All right. So the good about the game, storytelling in it, dealing from the point of view where you get to start off as a Templar, thinking you're an assassin, and then you get to see that that you were a Templar the whole time, and then to find out that you have a son, which turns out to be Connor, and then the whole storyline of how he came up and to show how he learned how to hunt. This is the first game of the Assassin's Creed franchise where you had the bow and arrow mechanics put down with the tree climbing and the jumping from tree to tree, and then rock climbing and stuff mechanics was put in there. Done very well, and it brought a lot of Native American aspects to the game, which I personally love. What's the good for you?
Good for me was the fact that, like he said, I really love the beginning part of the game. When you played as Connor's father, spoiler alert, if you haven't played the game, this game is, I think, 2014 or 16. 12 or so. Yeah. Look, if you ain't played the game, that's shame on you. But spoiler alert, that Connor's dad is the first person you start off with.
That's right.
And you think he's an assassin. But if you've played the other assassin games, to me, he was kind of bulky, kind of big, kind of moved like a military guy. He didn't have all the finesse of a true assassin.
He wasn't sneaky.
Right. So even he walked like Arnold. Yeah, hey, I'm Arnold. Yeah, hey, like, so we're like, oh wow.
He was swole. He was
swole.
He was a big dude.
So I like the way they did his story because he was more calm, cool, collect.
Yeah.
I love the way they introduced Connor, and don't get me wrong, I think the story aspect was okay. Mm-hmm. So the best thing I can say about the game, my good, would be the fact that how they the beginning of the game, because it had you in expense, and then when you finally find out he's a Templar, you like, what? So now you're getting a kind of like, maybe the assassins are now all right. Maybe it's like you have to choose which one you personally or what your ideas fit with. Yeah. So now you got because for all the other games, the Templars were bad. Yeah. Now you get to see that maybe the Templars ain't so bad, or maybe their perception is a little bit different. So it's not really a good or bad. Maybe it's where your ideals fall at.
It was a big risk from the developers, but that game twist towards the very beginning of the game was stellar.
Yes.
The new gameplay with the Native American aspects to it, stellar.
Yes.
Loved it. All right, now let's get on to the bad. So the bad for me would be between the main story moments in certain chapters, there are long spells of
nothing
drawn out. Yeah. It's pretty drawn out before it kind of slows down to a tempo that I thought kind of hindered the game more than anything. I know it was a situation where they was trying to give you some information and kind of let you know what's going on, but the way they did it kind of really slowed down the pace of the game. So my bad would be the pacing of it.
I think my bad would be pacing, but I think it brought the shortness of the buildings in Assassin's Creed 3 really threw me for a loop.
True.
Because you did a lot more stuff within the towns than you did outside of the towns.
Yeah.
So when you went outside the towns, you could jump from limb to limb. You had the same mechanics as the old assassins because they used to, the high buildings. But when you try to translate in that to a town where the guards can still see you running and you can't hide, you push them off, they still survive.
Yeah.
You're like, because that was one of the highlights for me is when the guards see you, you could climb all the way up and they wouldn't come up. And if they did come up, you can kill them and push them off, and then you can dive off and dive into the hay and hide.
Yeah.
Now, this one, the buildings, colonial. The buildings was only so short.
You couldn't even do a falcon drop.
You couldn't even do. You just bounced.
You just had to drop down to one knee like a superhero.
So a lot of times I'd be kind of get away from guards and do my thing, and it just didn't work. So that kind of brought me out of the immersion because one of the things of Assassin's Creed is the high buildings, traversing, sneaking around, getting from the high building, getting down to the ground, and getting back up again. So I think that just brought me out of the immersion of the game. So I think that was, for me, that was a bad, because I was used to the high buildings. Getting the bird's eye view, you hear the, and you start synchronizing, then you'll dive off like, hey! Now, for me, I wouldn't do that in real life because I'd break every bone in my body. Every single one. But it was good. Now, what about the ugly?
The ugly. Me, personally, for that particular game, I can't say that I have an ugly. There is nothing about that game that will make me not want to finish it or not want to purchase it. That's what we consider the ugly aspect of it. That would completely destroy the mythicism and the interaction and the immersion of it. I don't have anything like that worked that way for me. I'm super stoked that the game had another nationality into it. They brought a Native American and a brother, the guy that was training them. Another spoiler alert.
Right.
That was like the closest thing we had to a brother back then. And
fight the power.
Yeah, he got him in there, man. He's like, look, dude, we got to stick together. We got to do this thing. So I really don't have an ugly for me. But I know you got one.
My ugly was that Connor, to me, I'm used to Ezio. If you played Assassin's Creed 2, Revelations, and everything that dealt with Ezio, he had more of a flair. He was more of a character that, to me, with the plots of the game and the character, it made you want to finish the game. It made you want to get deeper into the game. To me, Connor was a mute character. He didn't have no... And I understand from a Native American point of view.
His whole village was slaughtered.
And this is how he acted.
By his dad. Well, not his dad, but...
I'm going to go get them. No emotion. His mother died. Oh, I'm going to avenge her. When they came back and did something to his village, oh, I will be there to help you.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that stuff. Now Ezio was the man. Ezio was the man.
Right, he was a hoe.
He was flamboyant. He was a bit.
He was a lady. He was a bed witch.
He was flamboyant. He had a lot of character, and they put a lot of time to his character development. He was joking and stuff like that.
And that's what I wish they would have done with Connor, a little bit more character development, because to me, as he got to know the one who was training him, I thought he would become more lighthearted. I'm not saying that he should have been an Ezio. I'm not saying that, but the reason why I couldn't even get into the first game is because Zaire, I think that's his name, wasn't it? The first
Altair.
Altair, his character also was like very mute. But I understand that was the first game.
Yeah.
Ezio really brought flavor to the main character. And I think for Connor to be a main character and everything hinged on, his father was a better character to me than him. His father had more depth to him. It looked like they really did a lot of character development for the father, but kind of left Connor out. And I think you're supposed to be able to
interchange
them, not interchange, but understand that you're supposed to be able to make your own character from Connor, because the same thing, not to harp on, but same thing with Red Dead Redemption. I did not like Arthur Morgan.
Yeah, because of the personality.
I just didn't
for another review, man.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just giving them something else.
Example, got you.
I love the what was his name? The one from
John Marston.
I love his character. To me, they had more in depth with him. And even spoiler alert, when the lady tried to get him to stay with her, he was like, "No, I got a family. I'm doing this for my family. I want to get back to my wife and son." So I think for Connor, going back to Connor, I think they should have really gave him a little bit more life. I'm not saying make him go outside of being what he was, but for him to be an assassin, for him to have to sneak around, for him to have to interact with everybody, I just thought, for me, I couldn't finish the game because I just didn't like the character.
I think it was very story appropriate. The kind of
person,
the kind of angst and the kind of person he was. He came from I wouldn't say dry, but it was a very dormant type background, and he was kind of withheld from the kind of person he wasn't even sure who he really was for the most part.
Got you.
But coming into himself when he came into the Assassin's Creed, I think he was very focused. He was goal focused. That's what I think.
You could be goal focused, but you can also have a personality. And I think what they should have done is given him a personality. Well, because think about it, like you said, the long periods of play between areas or when you in between story markers. If he would have been more funnier, or he would have been more that's the time they should have really dealt with his character.
Yeah.
Brought him out, because that would made you want to play. Like, it's certain things when you get to them long stories, you're like, dude, but don't get me wrong. In all the Assassin's Creed, there's long periods. But with my man not Desmond, what's
Connor?
No, the other one.
Who?
Assassin's Creed 2. You know I'm bad with names.
Oh. You talking about Enzio?
Enzio. You got to see him kind of interact with people. And that made you want to kind of go on and push on, even through when you're gritting your teeth.
Well, see, he was a flamboyant character before he got into the Assassin's Creed.
And I understand, but
then once he got into it, he had some serious side to him, but his regular side was still there.
But see,
also too with Assassin's Creed 3, they had a big story to tell with the apple.
Yeah, that's true.
And then how everything took place and stuff like that. So they had a big story to tell. Which,
for me, so this is how we rate. We can me and him can go back and forth, because we have gone back and forth on this one topic for about an hour before.
I'm usually right most of the time.
Yeah, maybe not all the time. Not all the time.
98.2%.
No, like 2% of out of one.
Oh.
But so as you see, this is how we rate. And sometimes we'll get caught up in the philosophical, or sometimes we'll get caught up in the character, the story.
Yeah.
Because what we want to let y'all know, we play these games. We just don't.
That's right.
We just don't rush through them. We get into the character.
Yeah.
And there's a running joke between me and him when we play Dragon Age, Inquisition. I want to have a love interest of Vivian.
Don't tell the people.
Vivian is fine. Vivian fine. If you ain't play Dragon Age Inquisition, play it because of Vivian. Vivian is fine. Out of all the women in there, she's the finest one, and they will not let you romance her.
I hope the developers and voice actress of that character in the game will see this and get a restraining order post haste.
So this is how we do it, and we just want to give you a taste of as we go into reviewing and doing things. And also, to put this out there, we're going to do it in 3 parts. The first initial, the middle part. And the middle part to us is going to be the critical part.
Yeah.
Because we're going to ask the question, even to our viewers, does the story, does the character, and does the mechanics of the game want you to fit? Like, sometimes you can get to halfway of a point of a game and don't want to finish it because you've seen everything.
Yeah.
The story's not interesting, the character's not interesting, and you don't feel like the grind of just finish out the game.
Yeah.
So when we get to the middle part, we're going to ask each other, do we see us finishing the game?
Yeah. Is there something in that game that will make you want to get to the end to see what happened?
Right.
Or is it the same old predictable A, B, C, and D? If you got a square peg, a triangle peg, and a round peg, we want you to surprise us, man. Throw a hexagon up in there or something like that, Give us something to make us like, oh, man, my mouth is watering. I want to find out what's going on at the end of this game. Is he going to make it, or is he going to find out who this person was and things of that nature? There's been a lot of games that done good jobs with that, and there's been a lot of games that haven't. Some games just do that cookie cutter game, get it out there, mass produce, and just collect the money. But there are some game developers out there who are giving a compelling, interesting story that makes you want to make it.
And one thing we do, we try not to have long games. Don't get me wrong, I love a long game.
Yeah.
But sometimes, the story is so interesting that I don't like going off the weeds. Now this brother will go find everything. If it's a snake licking a rock and there's something to see, he'll go see it.
Yeah, I will see it.
For me,
I don't do photo mode. I don't take photos of everything. I don't do that.
But what I do, I love the story, so I'll do everything so I can get through the story, so I can see. Yeah. Especially if it's captivating.
To see if he even wants to sink his teeth into it.
Right.
If it's a snack or is it a meal?
Yeah. And sometimes we play video games as a snack. And as a snack, you get the joy of it. It gives you energy. You look at it, okay, I'm done with it. But if it's a full course meal, I want to get through the potatoes. I want to get through this so I can get to my beverage and clean the plate. And I'll lick the plate too. So I'm just like...
Yeah. And if it's anything concerning cleaning plates, You know what you're talking about.
There you go.
So the game immersion in there. So when we get into these games, man, the video game, as you all will probably agree, it needs to grab you in those first couple of segments in that first chapter to make you even want to play through it to see what's going on. Some things you can just, forward through. Like I played games for the first time and forwarded through dialogue because it was just, it didn't make any sense with the game. It didn't follow it. It didn't interest me that way.
Right.
I didn't pay $60 to read.
Do voice acting. That's what they have voice acting.
That's what voice actors are for.
Yeah, just do voice acting.
Now, the exception to that is Fable. I read the crap out of Fable. Fable was awesome. Fable 1, 2, and 3.
Fable was awesome.
I read the crap. I think that helped me get through high school. There's so much reading involved in that. I think I wrote a thesis in college about
Fable.
something to that. Yeah, about storytelling.
But hold on. Now, I read the crap out of Final Fantasy VII.
True, you got a point.
That text you be reading, and then you be like, then you know me, I'm kind of slow, so I had to look up stuff in the dictionary. What does that mean?
Why you telling everybody that?
Well, look, this is your boy Blur,
and I'm Blitz,
and thank you for joining us. Thank you for having a good time with us. Please subscribe to the channel and become a part of the community. And we're trying to stay active in
the comments
below.